The weather is turning, the sun is shining, the best athletes are hitting the diamond everywhere from Lakeland, Florida for the Tigers to all across the globe for the World Baseball Classic. Baseball season is here at West Bloomfield High School as well, and perhaps the only person more pumped up about the season than the players themselves is West Bloomfield alum and baseball manager Josh Birnberg, who joins us on the Splash Live. Coach B, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
Yeah, glad to have you on. Baseball season, another exciting time here in Greater West Bloomfield. Your team's been able to develop into a bit of a power in recent years, starting to develop a bit of a reputation in Southeast Michigan as one of the better baseball programs up and coming. In these recent years, what do you believe have been some of the key points that have helped West Bloomfield turn the corner and in the spring season be a bit of a baseball school?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, really good players is a really good place to start. We've got lucky. A lot of kids grew up in West Bloomfield that happen to be good players. And when you start winning games, kids start to buy in. Winning becomes addicting, and you want to be able to feel that way all the time. And we had a bunch of guys that were competitive, too, that hated to lose. So, you combine those things, be lucky with a lot of good players and a lot of competitive kids. And I think you see that turn into a lot of baseball games and end up going on the right side for you.
Having been a baseball player yourself, knowing the culture around sports at West Bloomfield High School, and seeing the development of teams on the basketball court, on the football field, many other sports that have had a lot of success, like wrestling and so on in recent years, even before your tenure, what was your goal coming in to change that culture and build it to what it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there felt like there was a lot of pressure coming in, being an alum of the school, having some good baseball teams that I was a part of as a player, and just wanting to do everything possible to get back to that. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be able to win right away. We got lucky. Like, there was a lot of really good players that came through here, and there's pressure that comes with the other sports teams being really good, especially our football team at the time that felt like every year that they play and still play now that they're a state championship contender. So when you see other sports teams doing really well there, you feel pressure yourself to be able to, live up to the expectations of the school. And, I think it's good for our kids to see other teams doing well, and, they want to do well too and make the school proud.
What does it take for these kids to be able to not only take their natural talent, especially those really good kids that are going to be getting possibly D1 offers or other college offers, to bring the other kids in the program, varsity and the lower levels, up to the standard that's now an expectation at West Bloomfield?
Yeah, I think that they realize that they can't do it by themselves. And they're always going to rely on younger kids to come up to the varsity level and perform. And you saw a lot of seniors on our team last year. We had 13 seniors last year, 9 of which went on to play college baseball. But, they were smart, and they realized that we had some younger guys in the team, some sophomores and some juniors, that they really needed to perform in order for us to get to where we needed to go. So, you see a lot of older guys in our program taking younger guys under their wing, being a leader, more of a mentor to those guys, getting extra work in with those guys. And, you go from a bunch of guys, some that know each other, some that are strangers going into the year, and you leave, after they're done playing with each other as brothers. And you have a bond for life there, and memories that you'll never be able to take away from these players. So it's a really cool thing to see as a coach, and I'm excited for these kids this year. A lot of new faces, so going to be building a lot of new relationships and hopefully some great memories as well.
And that bleeds over from one season to the next. You leave that bitter taste in your mouth when you don't reach necessarily the goals that you were looking for, that ultimate goal of a championship. For your guys that are coming back this season, especially those in leadership positions, now how much is that feeding their motivation for themselves, but also helping you develop this team for 2026?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, we only have 6 returners, which is crazy to say. I think it's the least amount we've ever had there since I've been there, and probably only 4 with real varsity game experience. But I think they're going to take a lot of their experiences and a lot of success that they were part of last year. They want to feel that again, and they want to get back there, and they want to bring these younger guys up and show them that, this roster might be different, but the standards and the expectation stays the same. So, we want to stay where we've been. We don't want to have a rebuild year. We don't want any of that. We think we have some really good players here still, and we want to maintain the expectation that we built, like you've said, over the last 4 or 5 years and keep the thing rolling.
It's got to help, too, Coach, that this is all coinciding, getting ready for that season around Tigers opening day in a few weeks. spring training underway in Lakeland, the World Baseball Classic, Justin Verlander's back in Detroit. How does the excitement surrounding the professional baseball season and all that's around that help your players get into the motivation and be ready for the first pitch in the high school level?
Yeah, it always helps. And I'll throw college baseball in there as well, because I think that a lot of our guys see a lot of players that they played with going and starting their seasons with their colleges, in February, and they're going down south and playing, obviously. So they start to see that on social media, and it feels like baseball is kind of around the corner for high school ball as well. And I think the World Baseball Classic has been phenomenal this year. For anyone that's watched that, you see a different type of energy there. Kind of simulates like a playoff, MLB baseball experience, with the way that the energy is and the intensity of the game. So, and also the weather. I mean, we're sitting here. I think it's going to be close to 70 degrees sunny today, which is very, very unusual, as you know, for March 9th here. So I think you couple all those things together, and you got a lot of excitement around, the Michigan area for spring sports to kick off today.
Yeah, I got to ask about that. The unseasonable weather. I mean, I heard this on sports radio this morning driving into our studio about how that may play a factor into tryouts for some of the local baseball teams. For your team, being able to do that for tryouts, for those early practices, get those extra days outside. How much of a benefit is this sudden, surprising turn of the weather pattern?
It's huge. And I'll shout out our district and our athletic director, Eric Pierce, for giving us a turf field as well, which allows us to be outside maybe if the weather wasn't going to be as nice, or if there was a lot of rain, this weekend we'd still be able to be out there because we have the turf facility. So we've been lucky. We've been able to be outside, 90+% of the time for tryouts when a lot of other teams are indoors in the gym. So, I hope a lot of other schools are going to be able to be outside this year with how nice the weather is. But it's a huge advantage for us to be able to get out there and go live with each other and see what kids can really do, because, you can only see so much in a gym. So we're very lucky to be able to get out there and see what the guys can do.
And you mentioned, athletic department support, Eric Pierce, a former coach, also before the athletic director at West Bloomfield High School, and just the amount of support you get from administration, from the school district, but also from the student body and families. How much of an impact does that ultimately have on your team, both from motivation, but also just the ability to have that kind of a system in place that helps build the overall culture in West Bloomfield sports?
For sure. Well, it's really cool for me because there's a lot of similar faces in the athletic department that were there when I was going to school here and playing here. And obviously I played for Coach Pierce for 4 years, and now he's the athletic director. Coach Hilbers, who's our football coach, I've known forever. So there's just a lot of connections, within the athletic programs, and we all support one another, the coaches, and obviously our athletic director. It's not a mistake that he wins the awards that he gets, and I don't think it's a mistake that we've won as many championships throughout the athletic department, throughout all the programs since he's taken over as AD. So he's phenomenal, and we're lucky to have him. And we just have a lot of support from him. He was a former coach, so he knows what it's like for us to go through certain issues that we go through, the highs, the lows, and everything that comes with being a coach. So it's a really good athletic department and program, organization, whatever you want to call it, to be a part of. And I'm very lucky to be a small part of that.
Lastly, Coach, we've seen packed houses in Lakers Stadium for football season. We saw that recently for boys and girls basketball during their playoff runs. For people that may be looking for a spring sport to spectate close to home in their community, why is West Bloomfield Laker baseball the perfect experience?
Yeah, I always say everyone wants to support a winner, and we've won so much the last 5 years that we've had a lot of people come out and support us. Obviously with spring you hope for good weather, and once it gets nicer you get a lot more people showing up. But I think the kids deserve it. When we've won as many games as we've won the last 5 years, and league championships and a district championship, a regional final appearance, I think the kids deserve some eyes on the program, and we get that. So I'm very lucky. We got a lot of people that show up to our games, and I hope it's the same way this year. We're going to have a lot of new faces and a lot of excitement around the program with some younger blood coming up. So I think it'll be a super exciting spring in West Bloomfield for the baseball team.
Should be a fun year for the baseball team, getting started very shortly here in West Bloomfield as we move out of the last bits of the winter sports season and begin the sports season at West Bloomfield High School and all throughout the MHSAA. Coach B, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much as always. Appreciate you guys.